can see here, right, the root cause of all suffering. Joe, what is it? Yeah, anybody else?
Worry, fear.
All effects.
Okay.
All effects. All right, Brian?
Thinking.
Thinking what?
Just thinking being separated from.
The root cause of all suffering, and Neely's answer today also was the belief in separation, but it all begins with this here. I am. Everything starts with the I am. Okay? So the way this works is, let's say this is the mind, this is the one mind. Eckhart Tolle called it, the now, in that present moment. There's no past, there's no future. There's no I also in that. You're just in a state of being. We talked about this the last time, that state of being. Okay? So what brings us from that state into this state?
Individuality.
That would be an effect.
Yeah. Right.
A thought. It's thoughts that carry us out of the now, out of the present moment, out of that one mind, into the separated self. Okay? So you could say, I am unique. All of a sudden, just that one thought, I am unique, I am special, I am an individual, I am a body. All of those take us out of the now and put us into what I call the separated self. Now, I call it the separated self for good reason. Why do I not call it the ego? What does Eckhart Tolle call the ego?
Pain.
Yes. Okay? Because it's separated. This is the ego, right? It's a thought system. Okay? So there's many, many thoughts in here. There's billions of thoughts in here. But you, right, when you choose, right, I'm a body, I am separate, I am individual, right? You transport yourself into this ego thought system. Now, fear, guilt, anxiety, depression, all of those are effects in here because they're all thoughts, aren't they? And because we believe them, okay, we make those thoughts real. So all of a sudden now, the separated self, all right, is in this thought system that's surrounded with all these thoughts. And these thoughts are all activated. Hi, Glenn. All of these thoughts are activated by what? What do you need? What do you need with these thoughts? Sorry.
The fact that we think I am and separate.
Yeah, that takes you into the state now.
Yeah.
But what else? What tool? What other ego tool do we utilize now when we're in this state? Judgment. Okay? Because we're here, we're judging ourselves to be a body, we're judging ourselves to be unique, we're judging ourselves to be individual. Okay? So once we come in here, right, what happens also, the effect of that, right, is I am afraid. Because there's fearful thoughts in here. I am angry. I am depressed. I am sick. All of these are the effects of that initial desire, that initial wish to be separate. Isn't that right? Okay, so the point that I'm trying to get here is, Jesus says in the Course that you're far too tolerant of mind wandering. So that means we could be sitting here and all of a sudden you could have a thought that maybe you're not aware of, you're unconscious of, and all of a sudden this depression comes over you, this sickness comes over you, this hate comes over you, this anger comes over you. And what we're not tolerant about is where did the root cause of this come from? Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Alright? We're going to talk about the separated self. You okay? So, to give you another idea how this is going to work and how it works, right? You know what I teach on is the 3 levels? 2, 3. Okay? So level 3, this would be the one mind. This is the mind that's connected directly with God, with Spirit, with Source, with the universe. Alright? What happens then, alright, we go into the ego thought system here, okay, and then you have the Holy Spirit or the Spirit, right? Those are the two thought systems. So we leave this thought system, we come into this thought system, all right, and then the effects of that, right, and everything below this line here is in the world, in the body, and not, huh?
Fragmentation of the whole.
Yeah, so what happens here now, we come into this separated self. Okay? And the separated self, then there's a whole lot of separated selves. This is the world of bodies, of time, of space, and all of this. Alright, so this is the separated self. So we this is what we believe that happened at the beginning, alright? We left our source, we come into this thought system, and it's this thought system that has created the separated self. Does this make sense? So you can see now that the separated self is not the problem. You can see that the ego is not the problem. So what's the problem?
Thoughts.
The wish, the desire. Like Jesus says in the Course that the original thought was, I wanted to be special. You know, God wouldn't give us our uniqueness or individuality or whatever, so we chose that we wanted to be separate. We wanted to live individual lives separate from each other. And that's the belief in separation. But that story is all made up. Okay? So that's what we're going to concentrate on today, right? The separated self.
So where did that original thought come from?
Huh?
Where did that original thought come from?
Listen, at the end of the day, this is where the paradox comes into it, because even though we believe that the thought happened, all right, the difference is the thought was there, all right, but it's not true. It's not real. So what you're really saying is, right, do you believe that you're really here?
Do I?
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. What tells you that?
Awareness.
Of,
Everything.
like,
Body.
right, what's the body? What's the body?
Body is...
What's telling you that you're a body?
I can feel it.
Yeah, you can see it, you can touch it, you can smell it, all of these touch senses. But they're all emanate from the body, yeah? So what if the body's not real? You see, you have an illusion confirming an illusion. Our bodies confirm the reality of this world, doesn't it? Because we can see it. We can hear it. We can, you know, and if you step in front of a car, you'll feel it. All of these things. So the body was the original desire for us to experience separation. Isn't that right? But the body in itself is still not real. It's a part of the whole dream that we call it. And that's the paradox in all of this. Yeah? And that's one of the most difficult parts of this whole course to get over. When I had my experiences, when I had my near-death experiences, I was outside the body. I had different experiences than I was in the body. And one time when I fell, I cracked the back of my skull wide open, and I didn't have any pain outside the body. But once I went back into the body, wow. You know, so all pain is condensed within the body, which reinforces that this world is real again, and the body's real. Doesn't pain reinforce that this world is real? Nothing like pain to reinforce that this world is real. It's the one kind of illusion above all other illusions that, you know, I'm here and I can feel that I'm here. But what Jesus says in the Course, everything we see is an image that we have projected out there to see. So one of the famous lines in the Course is, there's nothing as blinding as perception of form. Okay? Because we believe it, we see it, we think this is real. But there's another way to see in the world. There's a way to see the truth in the world. So, we're going to come back to that, Brian, all right? So the one thing that we want to start off, all right, is we can't go here, we can't get there, but the one thing that we can sort out is here, the separated self. Does anybody in the house and the room know who they are? If I said to you now, Brian, who are you? Could you tell me who you are?
No.
Anybody?
Yeah.
I believe I'm a spirit having a human experience.
All right, that sounds very intellectual. Do you know it?
Do I know it? Do I know it to be true?
But it's
No,
nice to
No, but I believe it.
Yes, but it's a nice belief to have.
Yes.
All right. Do you
Yes.
believe you're guilty?
Do I believe I'm guilty of?
Anything?
I feel guilt. Doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
mean I'm guilty though.
Well, you couldn't feel it unless you believe in it. That's why you believe in guilt, because you feel it. You couldn't just turn around and say one day, oh, I want to feel guilty. Who would do that? Do you know? So you must feel it first.
I felt it first before I knew what it was.
Exactly.
Mm.
And then that's where your belief arose in it, because if you're knowing of it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, was somebody else going to say something? Go on.
Yeah, I'm Joshua.
Oh, sorry.
Joshua.
Joshua.
Well, that's from years of spiritual. That's who I am.
That's who you are. All right. Okay. Hi, Mary.
How are you?
Okay, here we go. All right. The spirit, people who have been seeking spirituality for thousands of years have been on one quest. All right, is to know thyself. Isn't that right? So that's what you're going to learn today. All right, is who am I? Now we have to realize who we are, or who we're not. All right, to realize who we are. Isn't that right? Yeah, because we have absolutely no idea who we are. Jesus taught 2,000 years ago, know thyself. So thyself, the separated self, this is what we're talking about, you have to come to an understanding of who and what that is. So it works something like this. We did this last week in the teacher's course, and we're just going to briefly go through this today. Have anybody ever seen that symbol before?
Vanderboom.
Huh? Van Gogh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the separated self. Okay? Okay, and it's into three parts. Does anybody know what the three parts are?
Persona,
Yes?
Shadow.
Shadow.
Decision.
And
Decision. Personality.
personality. Okay? Okay, so does anybody know what they all contain or what they're all about?
I suppose the personality is who you want other people to see you.
No?
the persona is who we want people to believe we are,
Right. Okay.
and the shadow is what we don't like to look at
Right.
within.
Okay. So, we're all aware of the script, okay? Before we were born into this world at this time, what we did is we chose a body. And not only did we choose the body that we're experiencing at this time, but we chose the personality of that body. Okay? So the personality is who we were as children. Okay? So, the personality is something that we cannot help. All right, when you're disturbed or your first reaction to anybody, right? Sometimes when you're annoyed or when someone disturbs you and you'd rather not be disturbed, when you react, it's your personality that's reacting. Okay? The personality is something that we can't help. It's ingrained inside of us. Everybody's got, I'm going to call out a number of personalities, but if anybody wants this, just email me and I'll email all this through to you, okay? So, it's ingrained into us, all right? But through time and training, all right, we can change it, okay? Though, inherently, it will always be a part of ourselves. Now, the personality, some personalities is not, we don't like them, all right? And we would rather be something else. But most of the time, all right, we're not going to like the personality. Let me give you an idea just of a couple of personalities, all right? In psychology, there's 5 personality types that they have done many thousands of studies and they have brought them down to this. So one of the groups of personalities, you have the agreeable and the disagreeable personality. The agreeable, and just look at yourselves to see where you slot into this one. Which one am I, okay? But like I say, I'll email these through to you and you can have a proper look. The agreeable personality shows a general concern for social harmony. Okay? Agreeables value getting along with others. They are generally considerate, kind, generous, trusting, trustworthy, helpful, and willing to compromise. Okay, the disagreeable individuals place self-interest above getting along with others. They are generally unconcerned with others' well-being and less likely to extend themselves for other people. Sometimes their skepticism about others' motives causes them suspicious, unfriendly, and uncooperative behaviour. So the agreeable would be, I am interested in people. I sympathise with others' feelings. I have a soft heart. I take time out for others. I feel others' emotions. I make people feel at ease. The disagreeables will be, I'm not really interested in how others feel. I would insult people at the drop of a hat. Okay? I'm not interested in other people's problems. I feel little concern for anybody else. Okay? So let's say that you come in as a disagreeable. Okay? Then those are the obstacles that you would be choosing in this lifetime to overcome. Because with the way this works, the script works on opposites. Okay? So what's missing in our lives, or what we're experiencing, is the lessons that we generally chose to overcome these obstacles. Alright? So most people who be doing this will always go for the positive. Alright? And there's a key to that. I'll come back to it. Then you have the conscientious and unconscientious. The conscientious is, I'm always prepared. I pay attention to details. I get chores done right away. I like order. I follow a schedule. I am exacting in my work. The unconscientious would be, I leave my belongings lying around. I make a mess of things. I often forget to put things back in their proper place. I can see you all thinking here about people in your lives. You all know some of these people, all right? I shirk in my duties. I blame everyone else for my own misgiving. I pay no attention to detail. I leave everything to the last minute. All right, Mary? Then we have the extrovert and the introvert. And the extroverts enjoy interacting with people and are often perceived as full of energy. They tend to be enthusiastic. They possess high quality or high group visibility. They like to talk and assert themselves. Introverts have lower social engagements and less energy than extroverts. They tend to seem to be quiet, low-key, deliberate, and less involved in the social world. Their lack of social involvement, though, should not be interpreted as shyness or depression. They are more, what they really are, they're more comfortable with their own self. Okay? So they don't need to be out in people's faces all the time. So examples of an extrovert would be, I am the life and soul of the party. I don't mind being the center of attention. I feel comfortable around people. I love to start conversations. The introverts would be, I don't like to talk a lot. I think a lot before I speak or act. I don't like to draw attention to myself. I am quiet around strangers. I have no intention of talking in large crowds. I sit at the back. Oh, there's people at the back. Okay? And I am comfortable in my own. Okay? So then the next one is the open and closed. The open personality would be somebody who is rich in vocabulary. They have a vocabulary. They would like the intellectual. I have a vivid imagination. They have excellent ideas. They're quick to understand things. The closed personality would be, I am not interested in abstractions. I do not have a good imagination. I have difficulty understanding abstract ideas, or it could be, I'll believe it when I see it. But Doubting Thomas and that one, we know what Thomas was now. Okay? So basically what I just gave you there was different types of the personality. Okay? Now, especially if you are one of the negatives in that personality. Okay? What you set out to do then, right, is you want to overcome those.
Sorry, Michael, did you say there were 5 types?
Yeah.
Have you given us only 4?
Yes, very good, Mary. Do you want the 5th?
Yeah.
All right, it's called the neurotic personality.
Oh, yes. What's the opposite?
You have high neuroticism and low neuroticism, right? High neuroticism is I change my mood a lot. I get irritated easily. I get stressed out easily. I get upset easily. I have frequent mood swings. I worry a lot about things, especially little things. I am much more anxious than most people. Low neuroticism would be I'm relaxed most of the time. I seldom feel blue. I rarely get upset. I never overreact. I tend to be calm when everyone else is not, and I have the voice of reason. Okay, so those would be the personalities. So, what we do in life then, we want to have a different personality. So herein now comes the persona. Okay? The persona is the face that we put on. It's the role that we play in the world. It is, as Carl Jung described, the packaging of the ego. The persona is responsible for advertising to people how one would like to be seen and perceived in the public eye. So what this means is, you ever meet people and you know they're a moody so-and-so, but all of a sudden when the people around, they just change into this, they just be really extrovert and they'd be overly nice and everything, and you're going away and you're thinking, geez, that's right, two-faced. We all know somebody like this, don't we? Yeah. So what this person is really doing, they're taking on this persona, okay? So it oils the wheels for social inclusion. So it's kind of like, if I want to be a part of this group, I have to kind of take on this personality, this persona now to get them to like me. Okay? And you'll see this in groups when people come in, like, they'll be overly nice, they'll be doing a lot of stuff, might get a new job and they go into the workplace and they'll do everything for everybody. And then 3 months later, they wouldn't even say hello to you, So what happens is the persona costs a lot of energy to put on this image for people. So the best persona will be one which can adapt flexibly in many different social situations with ease and comfort. It can do this best by projecting out the shadow unknown to itself. That being, problems will arise in the state of mind. For example, you look at a young girl, right? And she might be watching Top of the Pops, she might be watching, and she'll say, oh, isn't that great? And they'll start to dress like that, they'll buy the same clothes as that, they'll talk like this person. And what they're doing is they're trying to really adapt now a persona from what they see out in the world. Okay? So it could be, an actress, it could be a pop star, it could be anybody they see, it could be one of their best friends. And they'll start, you ever see two best friends and they start dressing the same? They do the hair the same, they do everything the same. Well, the two of them are basically adapting to each other's personas. Okay? I want to be like that, I want to dress like that, I want to talk like that. So like for a young fella, he might see a footballer, he might see an actor, might be a wrestler or whatever, when we're growing up in our teens, and they will actually take on that persona of the person that we're seeing. So we do this, and it's a kind of a continuous things that we do throughout life. All right, we're seeing little bits of people and we really like it, and we say, right, that's lovely. That's what I want to be. And we take on this role of acting like them, dressing like them, and talking like them. Isn't this right? Have we done this? Yeah. Is there anybody here who hasn't done this? Grown up? No?
So you were saying about that best persona should be flexible to adapt to different situations. Yeah. But wouldn't some of us, maybe even all of us, is there only one persona? The way you can be different in different social situations. Like it could be a different persona at work from with your friends, from with your family.
Yes.
So are they different personas or are they all facets of the same one?
No, you see...
So you might have a different persona for each area of your life.
Exactly. That's what I said there. The best personas will adapt to most social with comfort and ease. So that means that they're very flexible. They're not rigid. you know, to be, and you know, they'll know, all right, this is the way you behave here, this is the way you behave here, this is the way you behave here.
And even with regard to the personality types, you can be different
Of course.
in different situations.
Yes.
You can be relaxed, say, with some people and very anxious with others.
Exactly. Of course you can. Of
So
course you
they're
can.
not set in stone.
No, they're not set in stone. But you see, the one thing that you're going to grasp from this more than anything else is this is the separated self. Okay? This is the I am. Okay? And we're making it up as we go along. Isn't that true? You know, we're working out what causes us pain. All right? And we're saying, right, no, you know, maybe you were a member of a club or a team or something, right? And you put your big foot into, you know, said something you shouldn't have said, you're kicked out. Well, the next time that you're going to be in another club, you're going to remember, no, I'm not going to make that mistake again. So throughout life, we're always learning and adapting, and we're all trying to be someone that we're not. Isn't that true? Okay? So, the persona is something that we aspire to, that we want to become. This is really, you know, again, the personality already is someone we're not. Okay, so that personality is someone we choose to come here, experience separation. Then we even take that farther again, and now we extend that, and we're trying always to define. We're trying to define and make the personality a better personality all the time. Okay, so then the next part of it then is the shadow. Okay, anybody tell me what the shadow is?
It's the part of ourselves that we disown, so we put it kind of behind us. It's the part that we don't want to reveal.
Yeah. The shadow contains and possesses all the undesirable qualities that the persona seems to reject. Okay? The shadow is also wholly unconscious, and most people in the world today are completely unaware that they do even have a shadow or a persona. So before today, did anybody know they had a persona, a shadow, and a personality? Well, yeah. Well, you got this last week.
Hang on a minute. I know me young.
Right.
Sometimes
Okay.
anyway.
Yes. All right. But Young didn't do it like this.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah. Okay. So what the shadow is then, basically this is everything that you don't want everybody to know about yourself. So people who go into a relationship, say two people meet each other for the first time, both will be doing everything they can to keep everything that they don't like about themselves hidden. All right, which is their shadow. They'll be putting their persona and trying to put on the best act, the best show that they can to get the other person to like us. All right, and that's what the persona really is all about. It's about, I want to be liked. You know, I have an image that I want to be perceived, and this is how I want the world to see me. Because I want to be liked. I want to be special. I want to be unique. I want to be individual. So you see what the root cause of it's all at the back of it? I am. I want, I need, I expect, I demand, I desire. Everything comes from that first thought of I. Okay? So the shadow then, right, is everything that you don't want everybody else to see. A successful personality is wholly dependent on both the persona and the shadow working together. For this to be a successful partnership, the persona must be fully unaware that the shadow exists.
Successful personality, the persona and the shadow working together, but mutually unaware.
Yes. Okay?
Where have I heard that before?
Okay. Anybody tell me why that is?
Disassociate yourself from yourself.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you can believe you're the persona.
Yes. And what does that, just say for a moment right now, you're the persona, and Elias, you're the shadow, all right? And the two of you are part of each other, all right? But you're continually rejecting the shadow, how is that going to make you feel, Eilish? What are you going to think of you're going to be aware of this, but he's not aware of you.
Okay,
So you're going to be aware of being rejected.
yeah.
All right? That kind of would piss you off. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine if you were in a group of people and they're all talking, no, it's Davey over there. And this is what we're doing to ourselves. Okay? To make this a very successful persona, we have to get rid of this, deny it completely, keep it out of awareness. So it's like you're tearing yourself apart. This is the price that you're paying for this perception that you're going to be well liked.
Or falseness.
Of course, the whole thing's false.
And not looking at
Yes. Now,
shit.
let's look at the shadow. You look at this, and you all know someone, right? This also works. Some people can be so identified with a persona that it's all about me, 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 me. And we all know some people like this. You'll see them on TV, you know, we call them big egos or big-headed and all of this, like, you know. All they are is they're incorporating their persona, and they think that this really is them. And that's the image they're giving off to everybody. But the same operates with the shadow. Okay? Nearly all criminals, dictators, and psychopaths, insane behavior, are perpetrated by people who have become so over-identified with their own shadow that they do not wish to be a part of civilized society.
Can you say that again? Psychopaths.
Dictators and criminals, insane behavior, are perpetrated by people who have become so identified with this. Now, the persona is someone who wants to be basically accepted by society. We have to be, you know, live by the rules. We have to be these nice people, and then society's going to take us in. But there's also people who don't give a monkey's about society.
So they don't care.
They don't care about society. So now,
They're sociopaths.
yeah.
isn't it?
So now, how does society see these people?
Outcasts.
Yes.
They put them in the shadow again, they disown them,
Exactly.
separate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And just a question on that, would some criminals still not have the persona, like, that's quite tribal?
But that would be their persona.
Yes, that's, yeah, just you were saying, you
Yeah.
know, they're more in the shadow, but
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
that.
But they've got everything reversed.
Mm,
You know, they want to be a part of the underworld. They want to be the best criminal. They want to be the best dictator. You know, people who, you know, commit genocide and are war all the time. You know, to them, their society is the underworld.
But all is untrue.
Of course it is, but we'll get to that. But what I'm trying to do here is get you to see what's all around you, what society is all around you. And it all begins with this. Because you, everybody here, is only a symbol for this world and everything in this world. Because if you look at this world, right, you have the persona in this world, and you have the shadow. You can't have a persona without having a shadow. So you look at everything great in this world. There's equally so much dark in this world.
So the criminals dictate, they're at least aware, at some level, their shadow, where the rest of us are caught in the other side.
Well, it's not that they're I don't
Well,
believe it's...
they identify, sorry, I
Yeah,
should say.
yes, they're
Yeah.
identified with...
Where we would,
Remember, the carrot here for being their persona is that we want to be well liked. You know, we're all actors here. The separate self is a complete acting job here.
So then we believe that we are dark and horrible.
Well, we
live in
don't.
shadow.
But no, we don't, because
We don't.
you see,
Oh, we
the
don't
whole-
recognize.
You see, each of these parts are individual parts, and what makes them successful.
It's working together.
No, but the way they're successfully working together is they have this persona is now not even aware of their own personality and they have no idea of this. So you could say that this part now is its individual.
Or a life of its own.
Yes, and it's got nothing to do with the shadow, and it takes on the personality. Okay? The shadow, on the other hand, does the same reverse for those people who don't want to be a part of society. They don't want to be well liked.
They
And in
disown their
fact,
light.
huh?
They disown their light.
Of course.
Is that something like you join a big company and you become a company man?
Yeah, of course. Of course. You sell your soul to the devil. You know, we've all done this at some stage probably in our lives, like, you know. You know, we're always selling ourselves. Why? It's because I want to be well liked. I want to be accepted. Okay? I want to be a part of the crowd. I want to be a sheep in the flock.
Even if you stand up against a company, then that's ego related as well.
But how does the company treat you?
You're out in your ear.
You know, you're out in your ear.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, some people deliberately,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
don't huddle like that. That's
Yeah.
ego as well.
Oh, it's all ego.
It's not being themselves either.
It's all ego. It's all ego.
Do you think all ego is bad?
But the ego's not the problem. The ego's only a thought system.
That's
This
what
is what's inside the thought system that you think you are.
So I'm wondering if there was like a neutral spot. That's what.
No. Inside, the Course tells us there's no neutral thoughts.
But then when you do have thoughts of pureness and innocence and holiness,
Yeah.
where is that?
It's not.
It's not in that pizza.
You see, that was that outside the separate self, because what you're talking about, Eva, you're talking about this. We haven't even touched this. What we're going is here into the ego thought system, and then the separated self is inside the ego thought system. Now, you could say inside that thought system we have the ego right mind, where people who are really, you know, God told me to do this and God told me to do that, and, you know, like ISIS, they're converting everybody to Islam because God told them to do that, and God says that anybody who doesn't convert, kill them. Perfectly reasonable, you know? So, we're going to stick with the separated self here today, right? Because this is who we all believe we are, even sitting in this room. Okay? And this is what why we're doing A Course in Miracles, and this is what we're trying to transcend out of this system. So, the Course would call this, right? The persona is all the special loves. And the shadow is special hits. So the way this works is here, right? We'll draw them in light, and we'll draw these in dark. So, the persona
Personality.
The persona is always going to be attracted, all right, to people it likes. Wants to be with like-minded people. All right? And then the shadow, really, is kind of like, you ever hear birds of a feather stuck together?
Yes.
So the underworld, all right, all the criminals, all those rejected by society, they'll have their own wee crew. All right? So what happens then is, right, these are the people the persona likes, and these are the people the persona has, I don't want to be a part of those people. So not only is it happening inside us, but it's happening all around us. Because you think about this now, right? Look at everybody you don't like. Look at everybody you banish from your life. Look at everybody you have placed a big judgment on that's guilty of something. All right? What you're really doing here now, right, is you're saying, that's my shadow. You're not saying this to yourself, but this is what's going on. That's my shadow, and get away from me. You see, what makes the persona is getting the shadow away as far as possible. So what we do is we're attracted to people that we like. We want to be associated with people that we like. So not only are we splitting ourselves inside, but where that inside then is projected out, and now we're splitting everybody in our lives, all our relationships, we're splitting them outside also.
But people that drive us demented keep showing up in our lives.
So reinterpret that now.
They're a reflection.
What's driving you demented?
What?
What's really driving you demented? Leave the people out of it. It's happening inside you. It's your shadows. our own shadows is driving us demented. This is why we're trying to get rid of it all the time. We don't.
We even have, well, I'm sure you're different. I mean, you're saying your friends are generally people you love, but I mean, some of your friends drive you demented.
Exactly. Because the one thing you can be sure of, this is you completely. So, let's say you have a friend,
Yeah.
and you're going to like them. What you're really liking is the persona you see in them. But that person also has a shadow inside them. Same as you having a shadow inside you. Alright? So you can actually have a persona and a shadow in the same person. What Jesus says in the Course, this happens when love turns to hate. So we can have our personas and we can have our shadows. But then usually you'll have the people really closest to you, like your family members, your spouse or your partner, where both the persona and the shadow is inside. And as long as their persona is like in your persona and your persona is like in their shadow, everything will be perfect. Remember I said, what makes a successful persona is total unawareness of the shadow.
So when somebody, a family member or a friend, who I basically like, is displaying their shadow, that's driving me demented
You want
because
it, right?
because it's my shadow
Of
that I
course.
want to, yeah,
Does this make sense?
yeah,
Have we all got somebody in our lives that we love hate?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I want you now to really look at this. This is not about this person. This is about yourself. They're showing you what you love and what you hate about yourself.
But also, I think, Michael, would be aware of kind of our own feelings, what we hate about ourselves, you know?
Yeah, of course.
So it's not a case then of the persona not.
I'm going to pull you back up on that now in a minute, David. We think we do, right? But we're going to do a little exercise now in a moment where we're really getting up what's behind all of this. You know? You see, the way this works is, say you have friends that you meet every so often, right? You're going to really like them because they're putting on this persona, okay? And they're keeping their shadow well hid, right, in public awareness and all of that. But like I says, it takes an awful amount of energy to have this persona operating at all times. It takes an awful lot of energy out of it. So then what's going to happen with the people closest to you, where you're meeting them on a daily routine, you know, when you're with them a lot of the time, then their persona's going to drop and the shadow's going to emerge. So you're going to see things in them that you don't like. So what you're going to be doing then, you're going to be evaluating them, right? Right. Because they're, say, a family member, right? You have no choice, you have to put up with them. You can't banish them. Although some people banish or make up excuses, they rationalise it and say, oh, I don't have time. Maybe, you know, why did you come around for a cup of tea? Oh, I'm so busy. You know, they'll come up with every excuse under the sun not to be along with that person because they see, you know, their own shadow in this person. They see something they don't like about them. Remember, everything we don't like about ourselves, we're trying to get rid of as much as possible. Okay? And if we see it in anybody or anything, we run a mile from it. Because it's really taken away from our own persona. Because when we do feel that, we don't like it. Alright? So, and the way this is projected out then, we have two groups of people out there. Alright? We have the people that we really like, and then we have the people that we don't. And, you know, if this was, say, someone close to your family, then these two come in, and they're all mixed up. Because we're all told, like, well, you know, you have to love your family no matter what. Is that really true?
They're your greatest teachers, Michael.
Huh?
They're your greatest teachers.
Of course they are. That's why they're the greatest healers, you know. So what I want to do now, right, I want to look at the persona in more detail. And these are things, I want everybody to be really honest with this, right? These are things that we aspire to people, all right? And these all look really, really good, you know. So if you're being honest with this, right, stick with your honesty. Don't rationalize it now. Some of you's been doing the course a good while, right? So I'm going to write these down, right? So we like people who are hardworking, you know. We see it as a good trait. Yeah? Anybody know? Okay? We like people who are honest. We aspire to them, yeah? You know, honesty. Yeah?
Yeah.
We like people who are humble.
No.
Okay, Mary, you're out of that one. All right. We like people who are courageous.
Yes.
We like people who are confident.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Confident or competent?
Confident.
We like people who are trustworthy.
Yes.
Yeah? Do we like people who are cultured?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Do we like people who are charming?
Yes.
Not too charming though.
Okay.
A very wise lady said to me once, beware of charming men.
Do we like people who are selfless? Really put other people in front of themselves all the
No.
time. They're selfless.
Oh,
Yeah. Do we like people who are helpful?
Yeah.
Do we like people who are thoughtful?
Yes.
Okay. Do we like people who are kind-hearted? Yeah. Do we like people who are lovable? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we like people who are tolerant?
The last three that you're mentioning are very interesting because, say for example, maybe I would want them as an employee or something like that because someone kind-hearted might have good boundaries, or, you know, lovable, maybe they just see
Yeah.
self-improvement.
Look at this without judging.
Okay.
Just really, just look at this and say, when you see these in people. This is the point that I'm trying to make, like. So if you see someone who has not been kind-hearted, you would recognize it, wouldn't you? Do you know? So you'd say, that's not nice. You know, and then you might see someone holding a door open for an old lady or helping somebody across the street. You go, yeah, that person's very kind-hearted. Yeah? This is what I'm saying. We all aspire to what we see in other people. We see other people's behavior and we say, yeah, I like that. And then the next day you might be out and you might be in the same position, so you might just hold the door open for someone. Do you know? So we're adapting all the time what we see around in our environment.
So if we like all those, they are in us.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. So we like people who are open-minded. We like people who are patient. Yeah. And there's plenty more here. The last one, we like people who are gentle. Yeah. So, that would be your typical persona. This is what we aspire to, what we see all around us, and we will try to adapt each of those traits. We've all seen those traits, maybe learned them. We've been taught by our parents this is the right thing to do and this is the way you should behave. And if you keep doing that there, people are not going to like you. Not be right? So is there anybody there now who would turn around and say, no? Are we unanimous here? And the other thing, you'd look at this and you would say, what's wrong with this? Isn't that, you would think, this is good. That's the way society should behave. That's the way that the ego is going to justify and rationalize all of this. And this is why people aspire to be this type of person.
But at the back of it, you know that it's...
Yeah. So this is what we're going to do now at the back of this, right? So everybody aspires to that. Can I tell you now who's the other side of yourselves? Can I read it out?
Yeah.
Okay?
Please.
Right. This is all the things that I am in my persona. And then the dark side then is because I aspire to all of these, this is what I'm really hiding about myself. I am lazy, dishonest, arrogant, cowardly, insecure, sneaky, stupid, uncultured, quarrelsome, self-centered, unfriendly, thoughtless, stingy, bossy, vulgar, malicious, intolerant, obnoxious, untruthful, defensive, phony, unfaithful, uncivilized, ignorant, impatient, and harmful. You can't have these without having the dark side. Now, how does that make you feel?
Whole.
In a dual world, in the duality, it's whole, isn't it?
Does anybody believe that they are what I just called out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
Yeah.
it means there, because say, I'm thinking of a hard-working person. A person who is, now where does lazy come into it then?
You're only seeing what you want to see.
Yeah.
No, a
Lazy
person
can
who
come
is
up with
hardworking.
a fear.
Huh?
A person who is hardworking.
Of course.
They are whether I say or not.
Yes. Yes, but they're also lazy. There's a part of themselves that's very lazy in other parts of their lives, and they're keeping it out of awareness. This is the key.
Or
This is why it is called a persona.
it's even trying so hard to not be lazy that you'd overwork and keel over.
Exactly. You see, the whole point about the persona is that you wouldn't be so hardworking and try to be so hardworking if you weren't overcoming your own laziness.
Yeah, because sometimes when you see somebody and they're really, really nice and humble,
Hello.
I'd be jealous of them. I'd be kind of thinking,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
I would have a jealous feeling of, you know.
You see, the whole point about this, right, and what we're doing today, is seeing the part of ourselves that we have denied, projected out, everything that we hate about ourselves. Now, you can't have a persona without having a shadow. Cause and effect. You can't aspire to be an honest person unless you believe yourself to be dishonest. And we're all dishonest. Why? What are we dishonest about?
Because then we can't aspire to be, what, that,
Honest without being dishonest.
well, so the very fact that we're aspiring to
Yes.
be something means that we think we're not, or we're afraid we're not.
Yes. You see, this now becomes our new personality. Okay? This is everything that you're aspiring to be. You're adapting now into your personality. So in your personality, you might believe yourself to be lazy, to be dishonest, to be stupid.
Maybe you're not aspiring, you know, the way some people or some families just seem to be genuinely,
Yes.
naturally.
Keyword, see.
You know, where they're not actually don't seem again to be aspiring.
Everybody.
That could be-
You see, the whole point of this, right, if you're here in the separated self, there's nobody here escaping this. Absolutely nobody. There's
And if
nobody
we
here that
accept it.
doesn't have a persona and a shadow.
How do you transcend that then?
This is where we're going to come to. Okay? So that is the persona, and then you have the shadow. I won't write them down. I just call them out. Okay?
So if you see that in somebody else and you're jealous of it,
Yes.
do you not like yourself?
Of course.
You're not owning it. You're not owning it in you. Because you're seeing it in them. Like it's the shadow works for both light and dark.
Of course.
That's like, if you what you spot, you got.
Of course. But then you see what we do, when we do spot what we got, we don't really accept that we got it, we rationalize it. And that's where all the ego's defenses comes in. Like intellectualization, rationalization, projection, denial, suppression, repression, displacement, sublimation. You know, all of these tools are in place there to keep the shadow hidden.
People will present a mixture
Of course.
these things.
Of course. But the reason why they present the mixture is because it costs so much energy, all right, to have this image of ourselves just out there all the time. But you'll always notice the people closest to you will probably be, equal.
Comfortable.
Yeah, well, it's not that they'll be comfortable, it's just that they'll be more naturally. You'll see both the shadow and persona within them, and there mightn't be too much of any. The problem arises when you become over-identified with the persona. It's all about me, me, me. And then if you come over about the shadow, it's I don't give a F about anybody, and I just, you know, we've seen some of the personalities there, like.
What about if you say hard working, the first one there, say you're a hard working lad during the week or whatever, and then you're just totally lazy at the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, there's some part of you
But-
that is lazy.
But you see, what part, you know, working is only a part of hard working.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, you only work hard because you have to work hard.
yeah.
Okay, but then what about the rest of your life? Are you lazy with your spirituality? You know, you could be working out it hard, and then you could be avoiding your children, you know, doing stuff with your children. You know, you're lazy with your children, you could be lazy in a relationship. You could be lazy with your friends, you know. So, you know, we're very smart. We know we're bread's buttered at the end of the day, so that's where we're going to put our energy in, because this is what I want. You know, these are the parts of my life that, you know, I'm getting something from, so I have to really. But then, the shadow arises in other parts of your life then where, you know, you don't put the same effort in, you're not hard working. You know, I was up in a shop, and the lady in the shop, right, I get on well with her, right, we're always having this battle, you know, chatting every day, and I got 20 quid petrol, and I got someone else for 10, I give her a 50. But we were still chatting, and she handed me back a 40 out of the 50 instead of the 20. And I says, here, you give me too much. You know. And I know she was distracted and all of that. And she says, you're a really honest person. Was I a really honest person?
In the moment.
You were just present.
As the world, no, as the world sees it,
Oh, yeah.
she was looking through,
Yeah.
you know, someone who is totally unconscious to everything. And she seen that I did an honest act. No, I did an honest act. And she thought that I was an honest person. You know, but we're going to come to that now, because there is another personality. All right, how are we fixed for today? Okay, there's another personality now of here. So, this is split out, this is split out, and this is split out. So the three of those become three separated parts now within yourself. As long as you're denying the shadow, the personality, and accepting the persona, then you're really getting rid of this part of yourself. So you're splitting your mind. You know, it's read in the course about the split mind. Okay, as long as the mind is split. All right? The whole point of what we're doing in the course is to take this mind and make it like this. Somebody said whole earlier on? Yeah, that's where we're trying to get to. And the only way that we're going to do that, all right, is for now to work with our shadow or denial of the part of ourselves that we absolutely hate. And if you're not willing to do that part, then you're going to remain stuck. You're going to be in continual denial.
What are we trying to do? Are we trying to unite the mind, or is...
Yes, we have to unite all these parts, because we did it here last year, and you'll see it on YouTube in one of my videos called the Ego Defenses, the Ego's Toolbox. All right? The Ego's Toolbox keeps these three individual parts separate, which means that you keep certain people, the people that you hate in your life, separate, and you see these people separate also. So the whole world becomes a world of separation. That's right. The only way you're going to make the mind whole, complete, and one again is when you, in your life, when you start treating these people and these people all as one. Because now what you're doing is you're bringing the shadow and the persona and the personality all into that oneness. And this is simple. This is the center of what the Course in Miracles is. Okay, so